You probably clicked on this video because you're so sick and tired of saying yes when you clearly want to say no, and putting others and their needs before your own when you're not okay with it. It is so exhausting and it has to end. And today's the day that we're going to end this. I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do. And trust me, I'm very well qualified to talk about this topic because I used to be that kind of person who would act like she's okay with everything. You could say anything to me, you could do anything to me, and I'd be like, oh, it's okay. You probably had your reasons. That's what I would say. But I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but I would act like I am because I just did not want to have those uncomfortable conversations, or I just wanted to avoid conflict at all times. And now I've noticed a new pattern in me where I'm able to say no to the things that are uncomfortable for me. I've learned how to stand up for myself. If I don't want to do it, I'm just gonna say no. And I'm able to do that now. And there are a few things that I consciously did which helped me get here. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. So first of all, before I move on to talking about the practical things, I want you to understand that there's nothing kind about not having boundaries. Being nice and being kind are two different things. And I'm saying that you don't really have to be nice to be kind and a good person. I thought doing things just to make others comfortable, being so easygoing, was me being a kind and good person. But I realized that it has nothing to do with being a good person. And I also realized that if you actually think about it, being so nice to everyone and always making other people comfortable, saying yes to everything, is actually manipulative. Because we're not doing it because we genuinely care for that person. We're doing it so that we are accepted, so that they like us. That's the only reason for why we're doing it. It's not because we genuinely care for them. A good person is a person who has their boundaries. My people pleasing got to a point that I started noticing that people did not think twice before asking me something. People started asking me for absurd favors because they know I wouldn't say no to it. I'm always a yes, 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 yes girl. I would always say yes to it. And they know that. And I started thinking that if this was another person, would they have asked them the same thing? And no, they will not ask it. They will only ask me because I would be okay with it. And that's when it really hit me that I didn't want to live like that anymore. And there was this one experience in university when we had a presentation. I had to present, and I was up there presenting. And after my presentation, at the end of the day, my professor called me and he said, I did not expect you to present like that. And I was like, why? What happened? And he said, when I see you in class, you look like this timid girl who just wouldn't stand up that strong for something. But when I saw you present, I saw this bold and fierce girl who had a fire in her. And he told me that maybe I was keeping it hidden because of how I was conditioned at a young age. And that really made me think about it. When we're living like this, we actually have two versions. One that is who we actually are at the core, and the other one is who we show to people who we are. And it's so exhausting to maintain these two versions, and it's stealing a lot from us, our authenticity, who we actually are, and fully expressing ourselves. So I went deeper into this, and it really does start from the way that we were conditioned from a young age. It starts from our childhood. Maybe in your childhood, you were that child who always felt responsible for other people's emotions, and you always felt like anything that was happening around you was your problem and it was yours to fix. And you were also deemed to be more mature than your age. As a child, if you were appreciated for being selfless and for having nothing opposing to say, if you were told that you were very easy to deal with, this conditions our brain to start believing that this is the way to be accepted and to be loved. So you learned that you have to make yourself inconvenient to be liked. So right now we're going to rewire that. Okay, so now I want you to let go of all that thinking that you have to be useful to be worthy. Your worth does not depend on how useful you are to others. That one belief is blocking us from expressing ourselves completely and being who we actually are. This behavior is not just affecting one area of your life. It is affecting everything. Now I want you to know that this is going to make you feel so bad. Saying no in the beginning is going to make you feel like a horrible person. In the beginning, when I started saying no to things and actually telling how I felt, I used to come back home and literally overthink that. I used to think over and over and over again about, why did I say that? Oh my God, I'm such a bad person. I'm so mean. And I keep thinking about how horrible I am for just saying no and just saying how I felt. I want you to know that this is normal. It's not because means you're a horrible person. It is because you are not used to doing that. You have neglected your needs and yourself for such a long time that when you actually start doing it, it feels so weird. Your body feels weird. Your body is like, what is happening? Like, this is not how I usually do. You know how when you do any kind of new stuff, it feels uncomfortable in the body, right? Whenever we do anything new, just like that, this in the beginning is gonna feel, I'm so mean, I hurt their feelings. It's gonna feel like that. You did not hurt anybody's feelings. You're not mean. You just expressed yourselves, and it is just that your brain is resisting this change. And your brain is always gonna resist change in the beginning. You just have to keep doing it. Every single time something feels uncomfortable to you, you're gonna be like, no, I cannot do that. No, I cannot say that. No, I did not like that. It doesn't matter how it makes you feel, because that is just your brain trying to trick you and trying to resist this new behavior. But you just gotta stick to it consistently. And when you start to do this, some people will actually not like it. They'll just simply start having a problem with you having these boundaries or you being able to say what you want, because they benefited from you when you literally was like so easy to deal with. They really liked it when you were like that. Now that you say no, they don't like it because it's not very convenient for them anymore. And that's not for you to deal with. That is their problem entirely. Let them deal with it. The only way you're actually going to be able to do this is by being conscious. Every single time you're in this situation, you're gonna have to be conscious of how you're gonna respond to it, because we have done this for such a long time that that's what we're gonna be subconsciously doing. And then we're gonna come back home and think, oh, that's not what I thought I would do, right? Because that's how our subconscious is conditioned. And we have to bring our conscious thought into this every single time. So here's what you're gonna do. You're going to pause every time before you answer. There was this one time a person in my life asked me for an absurd favor, okay? I know for a fact that they wouldn't ask that to somebody else. And when they asked this to me, I was actually aware of how I say yes to everything. I was aware of it, and I was actually trying to build this new identity. And when that person said that to me, I actually physically paused. Literally for a few seconds, I was like that. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I just said that. I said, no, I can't do that. And then I came back home, started thinking that, oh, was I mean or was that okay and stuff like that? But it was completely okay. It was the right thing to do. After that, every single time I'm put in a situation like this, I actually take my time to form my response. I actually stay there and be like, how am I actually going to respond to this? Am I going to be like all the other time, or am I going to make a difference here? So just pause and give your brain the time to actually form a response and then tell them. And remember, nobody has to like you. It doesn't matter. Your life is still beautiful. You're still amazing. It changes nothing. So their dislike towards you does not have to be internalized. And yes, you will find in some situations that you went back to your old identity. You didn't really stand up for yourself, but the key is to become aware of it and keep doing it again and again and again. If you consistently keep doing it, that becomes your new identity. So from today, you're gonna start saying no, and you're gonna start communicating your needs. And I just wanted you to know that if you are someone who's able to communicate your needs, that means you really respect yourself. So being able to say what you want to say without caring about what anyone thinks is actually a sign of how much we love ourselves and how much we respect ourselves. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video next week. Until then, bye bye.